Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel if you've seen any of my past videos, and if not, welcome. I'm glad that you're here. So I am going to be actually making a fair amount of tier list videos because I don't see enough of them for things that I personally enjoy and like, and I think that they're great to watch, very entertaining. So I felt that I would make some of the content that I'm looking for. Hopefully if you watch this, you're inspired to make your own tier lists yourself, especially for the things that you really enjoy and are passionate about. Okay, I'm just trying to think of how to recolor. And then I like to add an A+ tier. I kind of like to differentiate between A and A+. I feel like there's a pretty big difference between A and A+ in my mind. But yeah, let's see how that goes. Okay, I'm gonna have to change this up a bit. Yeah, that looks a lot better. I really like that. Okay, so I do not believe that there is going to be any albums in D tier. I will just put that out there. I mean, there is one in my mind that I could put there, but I like songs from every album, but obviously they're all very different in their production quality and lyricism. So, okay, we're gonna start off obviously with Parachutes here.
Bones sinking like stones, all that we fall for.
At the bottom. So, Parachutes was an album that when I first got into Coldplay, I really overlooked this album. I had only really listened to Yellow, which I think is a beautiful song, but again, with a lot of Coldplay's music, I have to be in a specific mood to want to listen to it, and Yellow's one of those songs. Like, it does tend to make me very emotional for songs, so sometimes you don't always want to feel that type of emotion, so I tend not to listen to it. But when I gave the rest of the album a listen, I was really shocked at how much I actually liked it overall. In my opinion, I don't really like the songs from the end of the album that much. Like, Everything's Not Lost is decent, but it takes a while for the song to actually get to a point where I want to keep listening to it, so sometimes it's not one of my most listened to songs. But in general, this album's definitely solid. I don't think I can give it S tier just because I don't absolutely love every song off this album, but the highlights for me are Don't Panic, Shiver, and Trouble. Those three songs alone pretty much make the album for me. I do like High Speed a fair amount too, but yeah, definitely Don't Panic is one of the most fun songs I've played on the guitar, and I've played a fair amount of Coldplay songs and other artist songs on the guitar, and Don't Panic, I just find it really fun. I don't know. So yeah, we're gonna give Parachutes an A+, because I just feel like it can't rank S compared to some of the other albums that I like. Okay, so now we are going on to their next album. Let me put that there, A Rush of Blood to the Head. Okay, let me go back to this album for reference. Okay, so this album, basically the hit singles for this album were what really got me into Coldplay. Obviously Clocks is amazing. I absolutely love that song, the piano. I love playing. It's so generic to play on the piano, but it's so much fun, so I don't complain about that. Let's see, what else do we have? In My Place is such an introspective song. I love listening to it. Every time I listen to it, it makes me introspective, which I love being in that mood. So, yeah, and then the guitar intro, love it. It's so simplistic, but it's just so good. I love it. Yeah, very simplistic, but great song. How they utilize the crash in the song, the crash cymbal, it's really good. I love when songs use the crash cymbal well for the drums. It's makes or breaks a song for me half the time. And on this album specifically, I don't know what it is about how Coldplay uses the crash cymbal. It just sounds amazing on this album in like every song that they have it in. So obviously it's in every song, but the way that they utilize it and the way that they allow it to sonically be in the song, if that makes sense, I feel is beautiful. So love that. Okay, I'm trying to think here. Yeah, some other highlights from this album are definitely Daylight, Warning Sign, and A Whisper, and also God Put a Smile Upon Your Face, and The Scientist too. Like, I feel like I kind of group all those songs almost in one group of just very solid, good quality songs. Like, for an album to have this many B-sides that I genuinely still listen to all the time and absolutely adore and love, it just makes this album one of the best that I've listened to, hands down, in my opinion. The highlight for me of those five would definitely be A Whisper. I feel A Whisper is probably one of the most underrated Coldplay songs. Like, the way he goes from the verses to the chorus, and the way again that the crash is utilized, and the bridge. I love the bridge on this song too. Just the whole song, the way that it's constructed, it's so unique and so powerful. I don't know, every time I listen to it, it just makes me feel like I'm powerful in some sense. I don't know how to explain it, but absolutely love it. And then Daylight, the bass line in Daylight is really good. Really love that song, but definitely love A Whisper more. So I think I praised this album enough. I think it's very obvious that this album is going to get S tier. It definitely could get S plus, honestly, if I were to put another category, but S tier is the highest, so we're going to give it S tier. Okay, so now we have a very controversial album of Coldplay. Let's see here, I just need to find the album just to have the songs as reference. Man, I have so many different versions of Coldplay's albums on my phone, it's like kind of confusing. Okay, so now we have X and Y. All those places I got found, which technically has what I call quote unquote my favorite Coldplay song, or at least the one that I've said in the past is my favorite. I would say that this album, in my opinion, is groundbreaking. I don't care. I can understand people's criticism of it, but if you see it through the lens of actually how they were trying to tell it and the story that they're trying to tell through this album, I just feel like this album almost has more depth than the last, which I know is crazy because the last was obviously about 9/11 and it has a lot of depth. I understand that, but this album is more like questioning the meaning of life, trying to understand how to come back from, unfortunate circumstances. Like songs like Low, Square One, What If, they really portray that. And then you have songs like Talk, again, that are about the fact that you really don't know what's going on in your life. You feel like you need someone who you're close to confide in. And I just feel that those songs specifically really speak to me. I love the guitar intro on Talk. It's amazing. I love the sometimes it's hard for me to remember how Low goes, even though it's one of my favorite songs by them, which is concerning. But again, I do love the guitar progression and bass on Low. I love its, more darker, dense. I love how it's a darker and denser song in general. Let's see, what other songs can I give some highlight to? The hardest part is very emotionally gripping, an understandable song. Lyrically, I love it. Definitely another one of my favorites on here. Let's see what other songs I can. White Shadow is actually a song that I somehow totally forgot about this song, and I didn't have it downloaded, and then I downloaded it and I was like, how did I forget about this song? Like, some of their songs I'm just not really a big fan of, so I don't download them. But White Shadows, I did like that song. It's not my favorite on here, but it's definitely a great song. And then, yeah, I just want to talk about Speed of Sound for a minute. I just feel Speed of Sound creates such a rich picture in your mind. The lyricism is just absolutely beautiful. I feel like of the chorus, like, it creates a picture of, like, you only understand things when you look back at them in time and you see, like, the origins. Like, I'm really big on understanding the origins of things, and Speed of Sound kind of encompasses that idea. So for that, I love that song. Yeah, I think I've definitely given this album enough praise. It's definitely my favorite Coldplay album. I'm sorry, but I know a lot of people disagree with me, but I would put this one S+. This one goes before Rush of Blood. To me, they're very close. They are absolutely very close, but X and Y it just gets me. I don't know. It just understands my emotional state, I guess, which might be a little concerning, but I love that song. I mean, I love this album. My bad, sorry. Alrighty, so next we have Viva La Vida and His Friends. So let me go back.
Won't you let me know?
Let me go to this album to get some perspective. Yeah, I have two different versions of this album. Okay, so I feel almost like if you're a big X and Y fan, it's like you like Viva La Vida, but you don't understand the massive amount of praise that it got from, like, non-Coldplay fans. Because I would consider myself a fairly big Coldplay fan. They're definitely in my top 5 bands, like, minimum, like, more like top 3, but that can change depending on the albums that people release and the music that I find and, other aspects. But, again, this album obviously has one of the best selling and one of the best quality singles from any pop rock album, as we know with Viva La Vida, which is a absolutely beautifully composed song with the violin, with just all the instruments in general. I mean, obviously the violin is the highlight. To me, this song shows how instruments other than guitar, drums, piano, bass should be implemented into like mainstream music. A lot of songs that I really like have other instrumentation in them, like violin, trumpet, saxophone, flute, piccolo, etc. Like, I really feel like artists, especially nowadays, need to be more creative with the instrumentation that they use in their songs. unfortunately everything now is just put a 808 beat, put a trap beat on your song and just sing over it. And I mean, I still enjoy those beats, but I really want that richness and that creativity that this song gave. Like, this song, it sounds like an orchestral song. It has that orchestral instrumentation that everybody loves, but on top of it, it has powerful vocals and vivid imagery of talking about basically the idea of, being on top, feeling like the king of your world, and then feeling like everyone's out to get you, crashing down, but knowing that, I mean, obviously the part where he says, St. Peter will call my name. I mean, if you're a Christian, then you understand that aspect of the song on another level. But anyways, yeah, so enough praise of Viva La Vida. Definitely an absolutely beautiful, solid song. Definitely top 10 for me for Coldplay. So, okay, moving on. The other highlights of the album that we have are, I mean, Violet Hill. Violet Hill is a song that I slept on, and I'm very disappointed in myself for sleeping on this song. This song, in my mind, pretty much makes the album, other than Viva La Vida. Instrumentation wise, it's not as good as Viva La Vida, but again, the storytelling, the end of the song is so emotionally gripping. I don't know, it just gets me every time. It's like you can feel Chris Martin's desperation to have the object of his affection express themselves to him and feel the same way that he's feeling. And the way that he does it, like, you can feel it. You can feel how he's feeling. And to me, artists that can do that, it's just amazing. It's amazing how he does that on that song. So definitely a solid Coldplay song. Very good. Okay, some of the other highlights from this album, for me personally, would be Lost and Cemeteries of London, and maybe Yes. I don't mind Lovers in Japan, but it's not, again, I have to be in a certain mood to listen to that song. Again, a lot of the other songs for me, I don't know, they just don't stick out to me sonically. It takes a while for them to actually get into the richness of the songs, so I kind of don't really spend a lot of time listening to the others. I actually have kind of grown to like Lost and Cemeteries of London less, probably because I used to listen to them a lot. But yeah, I feel really badly about the fact that I just don't really enjoy a lot of the rest of this album. I mean, Glass of Water and Rainy Day they're nice songs, they're solid songs, I do like them. But I just can't really praise the rest of this album. So I feel for that, there's like the two main singles of this album, Viva La Vida and Violet Hill, in my mind just absolutely carry the album, and I love them. So for that, I can't really praise the rest of the B-sides that much. So I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to give this album an A, because I don't love the B-sides as much, and Parachutes, in my mind, some of the B-sides I like better. So again, this is my opinion. I know that there are a lot of people who could explain to me why Viva La Vida is better than all three albums that I ranked higher than it, but for me, lyrically, sonically, it just doesn't compare.